I am white, straight, male, product of privilege in the South. One family born in upper middle class, names with Roman numerals, owned slaves 3 to 4 generations back. My father's mother, staunch, God-fearing woman, talk about the blacks, was full of microaggression. She lived to be 99. Her husband died 30 years prior when I was just one. Company man for international paper. Took my grandmother to Japan for a year or so before the kids were born. Father and aunt and uncle all say he loved her dearly, was a good man. He was a tinkerer. My father and uncle built a go-kart, raced passenger pigeons, and became Boy Scouts, Order of the Arrow, Eagle Scouts. The stories they tell, they had a Southern Northern Rockwell experience, white privilege in the Southern 50s. Mobile, Alabama, Charleston, South Carolina, Port Gibson, Cleveland, Mississippi, the Delta, and the Gulf Coast. The other family I know less of, almost nothing really, byproduct of the patrilineal story. My mother's father was dead before I can remember. I just know that his wife was a smoker, good-hearted woman whose mother lived close by and tatted doilies in her last few years. She was the first person I knew to die. I only really knew them as a Mississippi family of white Southerners in the 70s. My grandmother worked as a nurse her whole life. My aunt would follow in her footsteps. My uncle would become a pharmacist. I have many similarities to my father's family, but I believe with less money. We moved from the Mississippi Delta to the hills of northern Arkansas when I was 5. I grew up surrounded by whiteness. My mother taught at a poor rural school that I attended. My older sister graduated from high school and left for college when we moved. My other sister was in high school by then. My parents got divorced when I was 12, lived with mom until I was 15, small town in southern Arkansas, then eastern Arkansas near Memphis when she remarried. Both places had a fairly substantial African American population. Most people stuck to the homogeneous and socializing. In college, most of my interactions were not very multicultural either. Only in the last 10 to 12 years have my personal and professional spheres become more multicultural. Working in the horticulture industry, most of the labor force is Spanish speakers from Mexico and several other Central American countries. I've learned small bits of Spanish, poquito español, necessary for my job, but it also makes us more like people, less like robots. I'm the one that cooks in my house, so often the conversation goes to food. I've learned over the years that since food is necessary for all of us, it's often a common language. The other big part of me is church. When my daughter was 6, she got off the bus from kindergarten in tears because a little boy on the bus told her she was going to hell because she didn't believe in Jesus. Started attending a Unitarian Universalist church the very next week. Most of the congregation was white, well educated, but the number of LGBT individuals of the congregation was a much larger percentage than the town as a whole. This church gave me the opportunity to meet people with different religious practices than my Judeo-Christian upbringing. Meeting and creating long-lasting friendships with LGBT folks added diversity to the human interactions in my life. My friend Willa, a doctoral physics student at the local university. Willa started coming to our congregation as William, highly functioning person with Asperger's syndrome. My family and I often gave William a ride back to campus after church. William began to dress in ways that made him feel more comfortable, which would have traditionally been considered clothes for a female. First time we dropped him off outside of his apartment in a skirt, he literally ran from the car to the front door of his apartment. He told us later that he was afraid someone would see him and beat him up. This is one of the first times in my life where I truly got to experience firsthand the fear and anxiety a person who is far outside of the norm of the community they find themselves in feels. William only felt comfortable and safe inside our welcoming congregation. That space gave William the place that was safe enough to become Willa, which she is to this day. This experience has shaped every interaction since then with children and youth in my classrooms. This experience solidified my belief that a classroom must be fully inviting and a safe space for each individual. Now that I'm older, I've worked with kids of many different nationalities, abilities, sexual orientations, and identities. I have found not only that my role as a teacher is to make sure that they are safe, feel safe, and know to be themselves, but that each of them come to the classroom with their own set of strengths and challenges because of who they are. And it's my job to recognize those and help them be their best.